you have been following the finance world, you would have noticed that the stock market has not been doing so well for the past year.
So for those of you who have just started investing and you're panicking because you're losing money in the stock market, here are some tips on what you should do after a stock market crash. Coming up next.
Number 1, nothing. Yes, don't do anything. And don't even bother looking at it. Just set it aside and hold. I know that you may be panicking because of all the red numbers you've been seeing, but deep breaths and calm down. Because what you're losing is really just paper loss. If you are a seasoned investor, you should know about paper profit and paper loss. It basically means unrealized profits or losses, where you are not actually gaining or losing unless you sell your investments. For example, you've purchased stock ABC and it increased by 60%. You're very happy and most probably thinking whether you should sell now or hold longer. But it isn't really a profit until you've sold that particular stock. It is just paper profits. Same goes for losses. If stock ABC were to plummet by 50%, you'll be panicking thinking whether should you start cutting losses or not. But it is not a real loss as well unless you realized it by selling it off. It really depends on why you invested in these investments in the first place. In fact, if you believe that the company is good with potential growth, then you should even consider to buy now when the prices drop.
The second tip we have for you is resist the urge to sell. After a stock market crash, panicking and selling a stock is the worst thing you could do. Investing well means buying cheap and selling for a profit. When you sell after a crash, you're actually doing the opposite. It is not advisable to sell your stock after a crash unless you need cash right away. But if you constantly worry about money, then maybe you shouldn't have been in the stock market in the first place. And if you think you can just get out of the market for now and then get back in when it gets better, think again. Because you have no way of knowing when the market will start to turn around. And missing a few really good days on the stock market can be very expensive.
Number 3, buy more if you can. As I have mentioned previously, that if you truly believe in the fundamentals of the company or investments, then you should even consider investing more when the prices are low. It is a great time for you to buy the undervalued stocks, or some would say cheap stocks, and hold it for the long run. It's like back in 1997 and 2008 financial crisis, where the economy took a hit. Stocks plummeted and many sold their shares to cut losses. But if you were to invest at that time, you would have enjoyed a great return. Times like these are where aunties and uncles would say,
I should buy more that time.
"Ay, so many ifs and so many regrets." So now, would you be the one 10 years later saying, "I should have, and if I've known"? Nevertheless, remember that we are not saying that you should dump in all your wealth into investments. And we are not suggesting you to invest blindly as well, but to consider the undervalued cheap stocks available now in the market and see whether you can invest more for future potential growth.
Number 4, rebalance your portfolio after economy calms down. Diversification is a key part to investing well. Even though I'm a fairly risky investor, about 20% of my portfolio is made out of bonds and real estate securities. I know we are currently facing a fragile market right now because of the war and also COVID, but there is still places that you can invest without constantly worrying too much. Big changes in the market are a good reminder for us to take a look at our portfolio and think about what we could do to bring it back. Some of the investments you could consider are like REITs, bonds, or even long-term endowment plans.
Despite the downward trend in the market right now, we hope all of you remember that stocks are still a good long-term investment. And if you want more investment tips, go check out our investment playlist.
Again, thank you for watching. Please give us a like and subscribe if you haven't, and we will see you next time. Bye!